Hey guys! Welcome back to the channel. We're back again with a list of anime with Overpowered main character, but this time we have only the newest series, releases of 2020, and of course the only ones that are good and worth watching. Upon checking this list, you will absolutely find what you are looking for. Be it isekai, romance, or action. Overall, all of these themes are well mixed with an overpowered anime main character who spice things up and plays the role of making these given anime TV shows more interesting to watch. But before we start the video, make sure you guys hit the like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And without being said, let's get right into the video. Number 10. Kyaku Suiri. The spirit known as Yokai lives in the world. While most are benign, certain subgroups threaten the subtle peace between Yokai and humanity. Since declaring her willingness to become a god of wisdom, Kotoko Iwanaga has acted as an intermediary between the two fields, resolving all supernatural problems that come to her. At the local hospital, Kotoko contacted Kuru Sakuragawa, a student whose long-term relationship ended in an unexpected separation. Kotoko has feelings for him and suspects that his innocuous appearance contains something sinister. So she asked Kuru for assistance to help Yokai. Hence, as with any supernatural anime story, Kotoko and her colleagues have decided to prevent their world from any harm, but this adventure can be far darker, and issues will come up more than what they had ever thought. Number 9. Shiraneko Project Zero Chronicle. Adapted from a game of the same title, this is really a good new anime to watch, and since we are highlighting those shows with OP-MC, we got you. As this one is heavily focusing on that. The story is set in a world of many islands. Young heroes from the island of Astora meet the adventurer Kyle and follow him on an expedition on the island. They meet a mysterious girl named Iris and a white cat who talk and go together to the ruins of the island, where they find the flying island. Kyle is consumed by the darkness there, and the group decides to travel to the end of the world on the flying island to find 7 great tracks that follow Kyle's words before disappearing. Number 8. Monster Musume no Oishisan. Welcome to the town of Lindworm, where humans and monsters coexist, and rookie Dr. Glenn carries out some risque medical examinations. Whether probing deep into the gills of a mermaid, suturing the thigh of a flesh golem, helping a harpy lay an egg, or palpating each and every scale of a dragon, no matter how different their looks, bodies, and properties, Glenn devotes his all to saving them and, in the process, winds up in some pretty dangerous liaisons. But don't worry, it's all just a part of his medical exams. Number 7. ID Invaded. This anime depicts a fantasy world with an advanced system that allows people to get into humans' mind. Well, this technology is used by police, and with that, their task is to explore these psychological levels called id wells to reveal the identity of criminals. Not everyone can enter the identification hole. The prerequisite is that you have to kill someone yourself. This is the case with former detective Akihito Norisago, known as Sakado, at the ID wells. The tragedy occurred when a respected police officer is involved, and then Kura found himself on the other side of the law. Even so, Norisago Kura continued to help in prison. Although his great detective skills still prove useful for investigations, Norisago notes that not everything is as it seems, because there is a far more sinister truth behind a series of seemingly independent crimes. Number 6. The Daily Life of the Immortal King. Nowadays, Chinese anime are becoming more interesting, and here we have a new anime of 2020, with an OP-MC that you will really like. Just ignore the Chinese voice and focus on the story, as well as the great animation style that it offers. The story depicts as a cultivation genius who had reached a new sphere every 2 years since he was 1 year old, Wang Ling had an almost invincible life with courage that was far beyond his control. But now that he's 16, he's facing his biggest fight, high school. With the challenges after the other pop-ups, his plans for important middle school life seemed to go further than what he expected. Number 5. Decadence. After nearly being driven to extinction by life forms known as Gatl, humanity dwells in a mobile fortress named Decadence. Built to protect humans from the Gatl threat, it's occupied by gears, warriors who fight daily, and tankers, those without the same skills. Natsume, who dreams of fighting, meets Kaburagi, an armor repairman. Their chance meeting will shake the future of this world. Number 4. The Misfit of Demon King Academy. Anos Voldegard was a tyrannical demon king that eradicated humans, spirits, and even the gods, but became bored of eternal warfare and reincarnated with dreams of a peaceful world. However, what awaited him in reincarnation after 2,000 years were descendants who became too weak after being accustomed to peace and all sorts of magic that deteriorated to the extreme. Anos enters Demon King Academy that gathers and educates those who are viewed as the reincarnation of the Demon King, but the academy could not see through his true powers and ends up branding him as a misfit. Number 3. The God of High School. Jin Mori has proclaimed himself the strongest high schooler. His life changes when he's invited to participate in God of High School, a tournament to determine the strongest high schooler of all. He's told that if he wins, any wish he makes will be granted. All the participants are powerful contenders who fight their hardest for their own wishes. What awaits them at the end of the tournament? A chaotic battle between unbelievably strong high school students is about to begin. Number 2. Sword Art Online, Alicization, War of the Underworld Part 2. It is the second day of the final stress test. The Army of Darkness, driven to desperation by the coordinated onslaught at the hands of the Integrity Knights, has begun to retaliate with incredibly reckless tactics. Critter, who had been observing the events of the underworld from the outside, has successfully bolstered the forces of the Army of Darkness. Asuna, unable to compete with such a level reinforcement, begins to sink into despair. But all is not lost. 2 new deities of the underworld will descend to lend their aid. The Blazing White Solus and the Earth Mother Terraria. And the ones in possession of these super accounts are none other than Sinan and Lifa. Number 1. Tower of God. The story revolves around a tower that summons selected people called regulars and promise to fulfill their deepest desires. Wealth, fame, prestige or something that surpasses them all await those who reach the top. Bam25 is a boy who only knows dark caves, dirty towels, and light that cannot be accessed throughout his life. When a girl named Rachel comes to him through the light, his whole world changes. He then became close friends with Rachel and learned various things about the outside world from her. But when she said she gotta let him go so she can climb the tower, the world fell around him. He then promised to follow it no matter what happens. Hence, while staring at the tower, a miracle happened. This is how Bam's journey, a boy who was not chosen by the tower but who opened his own gate, began. They call it a kind of non-regulation, a creature that shakes the foundations of the tower every time they enter the tower. And that's it for today's video, guys. If you enjoyed the video, then make sure to give the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And with all being said, thanks for watching and see you guys next time.